Alright, got another big project I'm working on. So I finally got commissioned, shall you say? I'm not getting paid, but I got commissioned to build a stainless steel cross for a religious group. Here's my measurements I took while I was down there. The old one's like plastic or fiberglass and it's cracked. They're trying to glue the pieces back together. So I am making one out of stainless, and it's gonna be a lot of work. I'll show you the steps as I go along on the mill and the lathe. Now the old one had two bases. I'm gonna make one base. This is a 1/2 inch thick stainless piece. And what I'm gonna do is I'll build out the sides on all four sides so that it's elevated a little bit. And I'll have two holes in the middle. And basically it's gonna be, just pretend this bottom base is in here is gonna be the one base, and then the two parts of the cross. So it'll be three pieces. I'm going to bolt them together. That way it's not super heavy. If they ever have to move it in the future, they can unbolt it and take it apart in pieces. But I got this stainless from McMaster-Carr. A little pricey, but what are you going to do? I got two 6-foot long pieces, 5-inch wide by 1/4 inch thick. They were $164 each. And I'm actually going to have to get one more because I'm kind of making instead of it being just one solid piece of material, that would have been way too much money, it'd be way too heavy. I'm gonna box it in so it'll be hollow in the middle. I'll have to get one more piece to have all the material I need. And what else to say? Yeah, working with stainless, so I'm gonna be facing off, the sides of these pieces. There'll be a little bit of welding. There will be, the only part that's not stainless is I got these 1-inch blocks, and I have a cool idea of how I'm going to attach the pieces, and how there'll be threaded holes in here, and these blocks will attach on the inside of the bottom part of the cross, like down here, and then the block will bolt to the base plate, and that'll be the connection down here. And then I have one more block, and I can make a connection from the top part to the middle part and bolt that together. So all that to come. So yeah, just maybe my last big project here. Don't want to jinx it. Hopefully I can keep working here for a while longer, but extenuating circumstances, if that's the right word. So yeah, machining to follow after this clip. Okay, so I got the stainless base plate dogged down to the table on the mill, and it's unfortunately when I sit up on the mill, it was rocking. It's got like a soft spot, so it's not completely flat. And the reason you can see is because the scale, I can get it just barely on this side, can't get it under on this side, but this side get all the way underneath. So since the plate is not perfectly flat, I tighten these down first just to make sure that I'm fairly flat all around, which I am. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna mill a flat section right in the middle, because this piece right here is what the plate is gonna bolt to for that middle section of the cross. And because I trust this 1-inch piece of material to be pretty flat, I'm going to, I traced it out once I lift this off, but this piece is perfectly in the center of my 12 by 12 plate, and it's a 4-inch by 4-inch, so I got 4 inches on either side. So that's how I know it's in the middle. And I will take the shell end mill. I think that's what someone told me it was called. I don't know what they're called, I just use them. And I'll mill a flat section, and then I'll drill and tap the base plate, and I'll bolt this to the base plate, then flip it over, grab it in the vise, and then mill some flats on the bottom so I can, box out the base plate so that it stands up a little taller. Okay, so it's not fully flat yet, but you can see we're pretty close. So luckily, the way we tightened it down, we got it pretty close to being flat. So now it's starting to kick up. I grab this corner here. So nothing over on that corner. Or maybe not. We'll see. I'm gonna take it around in a square pattern. The tool's gotta be like just directly above the material. Maybe 5 thousandths or so. Okay, there we go. Unfortunate, but I don't have anything bigger. We'll bring it back to the original position. Feed the table up another 10 thousandths. Okay, just went ahead, just kept working, made some good progress. So we got the a flat area right here for the block that's going to sit in the center of the base plate. And I drilled 2 holes here. This one I already tapped for 5/8 by 11. The other one I'm about to do so. About to countersink the hole so the tap has a nice starting edge. And over here, this is the block I already drilled through with the up to 35/64 drill bit, which is 546 thousandths, which is a little bit bigger than the drill bit that's being called for a 5/8 by 11 tapped hole. You would use a 17/32 drill bit, which is 531 thousandths, but because we're tapping through stainless, it's a lot harder to tap through stainless than just mild steel, so that's why I go the next drill size up, and the bolt still threads in just fine. I test fitted it with this 5/8 bolt that was just lying around here, but I'll be using a stainless bolt on the finished product. Now the block is back in this vise because I only did the hole that's required for the minor diameter hole for tapping the threads. I have to go back. These are going to be through holes, so I actually have to go from 546, and since it's a 5/8 bolt, take this to up to at least 5/8 625 thousandths, so that the bolt slides through the through hole and then can thread in to the tapped hole. And since I already have it tightened down the vise, I'm trying to show you the bottom, but I milled off both sides as well, so I have 2 flat surfaces on either side. And you're not gonna be able to see it. Well, right there, you see on the bottom section, I did this on this side and on the other side in the front. I just took off about 20 thousandths in the corner there, and I did the same thing on the bottom side over here, because when I laid the piece in here, I actually skimmed out this back section instead of trying to like take out the end mill or the shell end mill tool and putting in a smaller end mill and trying to like square off my 4x4 area. So I just like took out this back area so the rounded part would clear, and that way this block can sit fully flat in here. I just notched out those 2 sides I just showed you. So I didn't square off the fronts because that's going to be hard to do. Anytime you're milling something with a tool that's, you know, when it's rotating, it's going to create a circular cut, and then if you mill to either side, then you get a flat. You can mill something flat, but obviously when you're milling across and then turn, you're going to leave a rounded corner. So I was like, I'll just mill off a little bit on the bottom side of the 2 front areas so that it'll just clear this rounded area, that round area, and the piece will still sit flat on my machine surface here. So that's the update. There was a lot, it was very involved what I had to do. I had to figure out how to dog
the stainless piece down to the table with these two clamps. They're like triangular pieces with like stair step shape in them, so they mesh together, and then you get your dog piece nice and flat so that it's not, you know, cocked up one way or the other. And you do them for both, and you just get these finger tight, and then you make sure all your teeth are lined up, then you evenly tighten down, just go a little bit at a time back and forth so you get the nuts tight, and then your dogs are nice and tight, and your piece is solid to the table. And my piece is actually elevated right now because this was the second step where I put some blocks under there to raise it off the table of the mill so that I could drill through and not the drill but not crash into the table here. And then when I had this block, I laid it right on top and I drilled holes right through the block and then through the stainless. But in order, you might be wondering, how did I hold the block to the stainless? Because right now it just looks like I laid it on top. But what I did was I took a bar of steel, I drilled 2 holes, and I laid it over this and over this dog, and then put the nuts on top of that, and then the bar tightened down right on the middle of the block, which worked out very well. There was no chatter, the piece didn't move around at all, it was very secure. Because sometimes when you have a 12 by 12 inch piece and your table and your mill doesn't quite open up to 12 inches wide here, and the how far you can, you know, crank the table back to you or away from you, you don't quite have the distance on this this size Bridgeport here. So that's what I'm working with. So I had to come up with a creative way to do the process I'm trying to do without not having the working on more of a smaller machine, trying to achieve that goal. And I just got my little right angle die grinder with the green disc, because after you tap through stainless, it usually tends to leave a little burr, even though I countersunk the hole. So I just took care of that little raised edge, so that way my block will end up sitting nice and flat against this. So that's the update, and see you in the next one.